So we're in Iowa City, which is a town where musicians just kind of find each other. How did you two end up collaborating?
I posted on my Instagram story, like, hey, I play these instruments. I want to make music with some people. And I had seen Jarrett play before with Wave Cage, but I don't think we like really knew each other.
We didn't really know each other. I think the first time that I actually met you was at Mission Creek 2022.
Okay.
After your set.
Okay.
And I was like totally blown away. And then I think I introduced myself at that point, and then maybe we kind of reconnected again later.
Yeah, Jarrett replied to my story, I remember. And
yeah.
We just kind of like, he was like, I'd be down for that. Send me some stuff. And I like did that. And then it just kind of really snowballed from there. Yeah.
You do each have kind of separate musical careers going. How would you each describe what you do musically? Jarrett, let's start with you on that one.
Sure. So I have a jazz background, so I often do like private gigs that are just jazz mostly. I play jazz piano, and so I do some jazz solo gigs like that. I also play with another band called Wave Cage that Lex had mentioned. And then also I do a lot of just like producing and just smaller collaborations and releasing other music. Like I did a record with Dan Padley last year. Actually, that came out 2 years ago, I guess, called Ecotones, which is really fun. But yeah, I'd say those are probably my main focuses.
Well, since Jarrett mentioned his background in jazz, I have a classical background in flute, and I make electronic music and I like to do experimental kind of improvisation. And then I also play in a band called Cling with Aaron Knight and Elly Hofmaier, and I very much consider myself a collaborator and like a collaborative-based, kind of project-based musician. So I don't know, I just like playing with people, and that kind of guides. I feel like what I do and what I'm making musically is kind of who I'm making music with.
So when the two of you decided to get together and work on some music, was the intention we're going to make an EP, or how did you decide what you're going to do here?
How did we decide? I think, well, part of this project was actually funded by a grant from the Iowa Arts Council, and one of the main deliverables for that was to have a catalog of recorded music. We ended up doing this EP, and then I'm recording another EP with another person to put it together. But I think we sat down and said, let's do a project together, let's make a full thing, not just a couple of random singles, and it kind of took off from there.
It started with Rainwalker.
Yeah.
Is like when we started making that song, we didn't really have well, maybe you did, I don't know, but we hadn't talked about like really the full scope of it. We just, because like I said, we didn't really know each other that well.
That's true.
We weren't really friends yet. We kind of became friends like through this project, which is really cute. But we started making Rainwalker together, and it's a banger, and we liked making it together, and we liked working together. So it kind of after that we just kind of kept going because that collaboration was going really well.
That is a great song. It's the first song in this EP, which is called Have You Been the Night, which I just love that title. And I love saying it on the air because I feel like I got to communicate that it's a question. Where does that come from? Have you been the night?
It's a lyric. It's a lyric in Rainwalker. So the music of that came first, and then the lyrics came afterwards. And Rainwalker was, I'm always collecting anything, lyrics, little phrases, things like that in my phone. And that's one that I had kind of in there. And I was like, this sounds like the song, this Rainwalker, this phrase sounds like the song. And so I kind of started writing lyrics off of that, kind of inspired from that phrase itself. And then also, some, I guess, just like from inside of my mind, just like the way that I experience the world and dreams and the line between those, the blurring of the line between those, I guess, and it came out of that.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things that I think came out of this collaboration was when we were recording Rainwalker, I think we both kind of listened to the music together, and we were kind of both visualizing a lot as we were creating the song.
Yeah.
We had similar like colors and images in our head, and "Have You Been the Night" I think was very evocative of what we were kind of starting to hear and started to see, and then Lex kind of took that forward with the rest of their lyrics. So
Yeah, I think I wrote the lyric, and then Jarrett was like, "Oh no, this is like the line." Yeah. And at first I was kind of like, "Oh, should we like," because the song right after Rainwalker is called "Have You Been the Night," and I was like, "I don't know," and Jarrett was like, "No, like this is the line." Yeah.
Now that you mention it, it is a record that I think does conjure up a lot of visual images in the brain as you're listening to it. I also I listened to your solo work also at the same time I was listening to the EP, and your two very different styles really, I thought, mixed together very well. At no point was I like, oh, this sounds like a Jarrett song or this sounds like a Lex song. It really it felt greater than the sum of its parts. Awesome. What do you feel like you each kind of brought to the table there?
Yeah, I think we both kind of brought a lot, honestly, in kind of different contexts with different songs. To kind of break it down, I guess, Rainwalker, "Have You Been the Night," how do you pronounce it? I apologize. N'importe pas. And Whatever I Want, that was mostly Lex, I would say, at least for the initial production, and then we kind of built off of that. I think Rainwalker was probably started with my stuff, but then a lot of Lex's flute and like reverb and vocal ideas really kind of mixed that in and kind of created its own thing. And then I think "Have You Been the Night" itself was just kind of let's just create an atmosphere and a mood, and that was honestly I think we both kind of, that was where the visualizing came from, and I think we both kind of tied into that with our playing, so kind of all over the place. Yeah.
Was it difficult to record? There's kind of a lot sonically happening here, and that's something I thought about as I was listening to it.
I feel like, so I don't know, kind of answering a little bit of that previous question with this one, Jarrett we would meet every week and kind of just like work together. So I feel like that's part of that, where that cohesion comes from, is just like the continual practice.
Yeah.
Like really consistent and collaborative. But we would just go over to, or I would go over to Jarrett's and you kind of have like a setup for that, where we would like produce together and record and like make like the demos of these songs, which I remember playing them for some of our friends, and they were like, why are you recording this somewhere else? Like they already sound so good. Yeah. And we're like, oh, we just want like some nicer mics and stuff like that. Cause they already were pretty fully formed. So it was like, I would say a very like detailed, we're both like pretty pedantic workers. And so it kind of lent well to that. And then we were just kind of unyielding with the vision and the quality, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so. Part of that was, I think most of it was tracked like in my bedroom. But then we tracked the drums at the Vault in West Liberty, which is a cool studio over there. And then we did the actual mixing and mastering at Flat Black. And some of the vocals. And some of the vocals at Flat Black too, yeah. And so it kind of, whatever kind of lent itself most to our creative path at the time is what we just went for. And I think they all, even though it was kind of mismatched all over the place, it still kind of came together fine. So, yeah.
You've never performed the EP live in public, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is there a reason for that? Is it challenging to do? Have you just not found the time?
Honestly, we've both just kind of, we have a lot of our own projects and other things that we're kind of working on, like even right at the time the thing came out.
Exactly.
And so it's like we kind of just go where our own, projects and creative ideas take us. And there's such a lag between when you record something when it actually comes out on Spotify and in the world. And by that time, we had kind of already, worked on some other things that we had gone with. So, it's just kind of the reality of when you record something, when you release it, and kind of where creative flows were at.
Yeah.
Would you consider working together again?
Yeah,
I would.
For sure. No, we definitely, when we were making this, we definitely had a lot of other ideas that we were like already starting and kind of wanting to work on. But like Jarrett said, we both are doing a lot of projects, and those kind of maybe came to the forefront, or we just kind of have to flow with the different things. So I mean, I think both of us still have stuff that we want to make together. So it's just a matter, I would say, of like when that time is right in both of our creative lives, and that kind of aligning again.
Where can folks keep up with you both, together or separately? Like follow your live performances, etc.
Yeah, for me, it's my Instagram is probably the best place. You can add me on Facebook if you want, but I'm not really active on Facebook anymore these days.
That's good.
Also, check out my Bandcamp. I was going to promote the Bandcamp. What about you, Lex?
Yeah, Instagram also. You can find me on Instagram. Lex Leto, it's just my name. And then also my band is my other project, Kling, Kling. We're on there too. Drop your handle, dude.
Jarrett_Purdy.
Yeah.
Tough one. We're just happy to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for having us.
Well, we are happy to have you, and congratulations on this EP. I know it might be old news for you by now, but it's not to a lot of folks, so we are excited to feature it on Studio One. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.